Yo, 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 welcome to another episode of the Culture Controversial Podcast, man. I'm your host, Simply Nicholas87, and my co-host, Ty H and D Rome 2000. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on, world?
What's happening? What's happening? Great to be here.
Oh, yeah, and for all the new people that ain't subscribed out there, y'all go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, let you know when we're going live or dropping content. Also, I put some channels in the description that I want you guys to follow. Follow my boy King Tweezy on YouTube. I got his link in the description. The Trap House, follow them as well there in the description, and channel Chilltown, also follow him as well. His link is in the description as well. Um, anyway, man, let's get into it, man. What's been going on, y'all? What's the new? What's the new?
Hey man, it's just been holding it down, man. Working and
Yep.
making the best of life. Just keeping up with the current events. Ain't really
Yeah.
nothing changed, man.
Oh yeah. D.
Yeah, same. Working, family life. So staying occupied, man. Trying to keep my mind right. Keep
True.
going. Definitely blessed still, but keep
You
it
know,
moving.
as always, man. As always. I want to get up here tonight. We're gonna talk a little a little bit of this first round of these NBA playoffs that we got going on here. Right now, I know we got a game going on as we speak. Boston and Brooklyn Nets, game two of that series. Last time I checked, I think it was the end of the first quarter, and I know it was like 20 something to 13, if I'm not mistaken. But I know they probably into the second quarter now. Um, and then we had, I think the Suns and the Pelicans played yesterday. That series is tied up, I think, if I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken.
Yeah, Brent
Um,
Egan took
Yeah,
over that.
and Devin Booker got hurt.
yeah, so I know they said reportedly Devin Booker was supposed to be out. I know for game three and possibly
And
four.
four.
Yeah, with a hamstring.
Yeah. I'll be right back. I'm about to put my headset on. I just figured out how to get it to work on
Okay, I got you. But yeah. What do y'all think about the Brooklyn series? You
So
think
that
that's
again?
I was saying, what do y'all think about the Brooklyn series so far? The first going into the first round, as far as two teams with that competitive nature.
Well, that's a Brooklyn team that ordinarily would have been a team that probably would have competed for the number one seed, but because Irving couldn't play the home games. Then you had the situation where they traded Harden for Simmons, all that. That's a team where one of the star players missed the majority of the season, even though he wasn't injured. But now those restrictions are going on their back. So you're talking about the talent of a 60 win type team that only won 44 games, seven seed, but the number one seed talented wise. So that's a tough matchup for a number two seed to have to play. You said, how's the game going right now? You said the Celtics game.
The first quarter, I think it was last time I checked. I know it was up by at least 10 going
Okay,
out of
yeah,
the
my phone is
first.
It's,
acting up, but
it's
I heard what
12
you said.
now. It's
Anyway,
49-37
Okay,
is the current score of Nets.
okay. I know. Um,
hey,
KD
while y'all
got
talking, I'm gonna leave and come back again. I'm having audio issues.
okay, okay. Yeah, I know. The KD was going off in the first quarter a little bit. I seen he got to the line a couple times. I know he had a cold start in game one. Um, Bad shooting night for a good shooter, you know. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
Kyrie pretty much had to put it on his back for most of the long haul of that game. But they did unfortunately lose on the last second inbound.
Yeah,
Well,
it's part of the game.
game, yeah. Um, I don't know. I feel like this is gonna be the series that's gonna go a good bit of distance. So whoever comes out of this is gonna be pretty exhausted going into the um, second round. Whoever comes out of this matchup in this first round, because they're gonna probably pretty much give everything they got going into round two. So I think, in my opinion, I think I don't know who I would say would come out of that series. Uh, it's kind of hard to tell. Because, like I said, game one, it was a nail biter. I mean, right now, I know the Nets are up pretty big right now. Before halftime, but that could change as well. But what do you think, D?
I mean, it's. I'll say this, like what T was talking about earlier. The team level. That team should have probably been at least, in my mind, in the top three in the Eastern Conference.
Right.
With all the different things they did go through, now to kind of have stability. They're going to be a tough team. During this
Yeah.
series, but Boston Celtics, they had a hell of a second half. Man, they're tough. I mean, somebody like Marcus Smart, which is he's not probably the standout player on that team, but
Defense player of the year.
he's the
Yeah,
spark plug of
defensive
that
player of the
team,
year.
And
man.
one
He gets
defense player of the year. So
yeah, he
Yeah.
gets
hard
involved.
nose. He's a 90s type player.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he like
gritty.
get dirty.
He's gritty, man. So
I
he's
said you're gonna do it.
I put my hat on.
But I mean, I'm not. I'll say it this way. I mean, I still feel like Brooklyn still has a. I mean, either way can go either way, but Brooklyn can lose this series if they take Boston lightly. That's what I'm going to say for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll say that Boston would be favored to win it, but the series. But if you look at their top two players for each team, you look Jason Tatum's the best player for Boston, Kevin Durant's the best player for Brooklyn. Just on that matchup, I'll take Kevin Durant. You look at the second best player, Kyrie Irving versus Jaylen Brown. I'll take Kyrie Irving if his mind is right. I'll take Kyrie Irving over Jaylen Brown. And then when you look at the role players, they kind of even out the same type role players. I'm not factoring in Ben Simmons because even if he comes back, he hasn't played all year. So
You don't know what you're getting.
Audio acting weird again.
I said you probably don't know what you're getting out of that. You don't know what you're getting out of that situation.
Yeah, but can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, my phone is acting up, but it'll get back right. But yeah, that's just the game. Boston needs to win today to go up 2-0. If Boston loses this game tonight, they're going to be up S Creek because they're probably going to lose the series because they'll go down 3-1 in Brooklyn. What I think will happen if this end up going, this probably has the makers of going 7. I feel like Boston's going to win tonight, go up 2-0. I think Brooklyn's going to win both games in Brooklyn, tie it up 2-2. Then you're going to have that pivotal game 5 that can kind of go either way. A lot of people think it's going to go 7. I don't think it's going to go 7. I think whoever wins it, they'll win it in 6. I'm going to lean with Boston, but it can. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Brooklyn won the series.
Yeah.
It's definitely a series that it could either go either way. I mean, it's hard. That's probably gonna be one of the toughest series in the I'm not final, but the playoffs.
Playoffs, yeah.
Yeah. Really to gauge on who's gonna do what, because like I said, Boston, the way they played, like I said, they played hell from ball, the second half. They was probably out of the playoff contention.
Yeah, they were down there like with Charlotte, battling 7th and 8th, and then they had a stretch where they won like 23 out of 25 and propelled all the way up to the 2nd seed.
So yeah, I mean they turned well. They did, man. They definitely came out smoking that second half.
What I think it was I think the turning point for them was when they put Marcus Smart at point guard. Yep. I think that was the turning point. Absolutely. Because I think at first he wasn't before the All-Star break he wasn't playing point guard.
He used to come off the bench. Who was the starting point guard when the season started?
No, I won't say it was Schroeder, was it?
No, I wasn't Schroeder.
He was on the team though. I mean, he was in the rotation.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't tell you exactly who was the starting point guard starting the season now, but I know after the All-Star break, he came in and played point, and that changed that whole.
Well, he has a dimension of toughness, defensive intensity. Like I said, he reminded me of those guards from the 90s, like those Knicks Bulls, Knicks Heat series and stuff back in the day. He reminds you of one of them hard-nosed guards that played back in the 90s, like during the era when the Houston Rockets were winning championships. Not during that era, he reminds me of those some of those guards from that time frame.
Like a Mark, you like it's a Gary Payton.
Yeah, he can't score like Peyton, but I'm talking about from the defensive intensity standpoint. Yeah.
Yeah. For defense, not as far as like scoring.
Yeah, he has that. If he would have played in the night, he would have been a perfect guard for the Niners with his style of physicality. That's why I like him because he has. We're in the league now where everybody want to hug and kiss and be best friends. He kind of reminds me of those guys from back in the day that they weren't hugging and kissing and holding hands. He's like he wants to come out there, he wants to compete. He's the type player like when you're trying to build a championship team, he's the kind of role player you need because he's willing to do dirty work. He's not worried about scoring 20 points. He's not worried about making the sports center highlights. He's just a guy that's going to do the dirty work, do the things that other people are too pretty to do, things that help you win games.
Right. I was gonna go to the next series, which I think is probably gonna end up being a sweep. Milwaukee and Chicago. I think that's gonna probably end up being a sweep.
I think Chicago get a game, man.
Think they get a game?
Yeah, it's too bad, man. When Lonzo Ball got hurt, that derailed them. They were like a top 3 team when Lonzo Ball was healthy. When you lose your starting point guard, your playmaker, not necessarily for scoring purposes, but the guy that gets everybody else involved, gets everyone else going, the floor general, you lost him. They've really been on a downward spiral since then. But I mean, I think that Milwaukee doesn't always have a killer instinct. I feel like they'll get game 3. So I feel like Milwaukee will win game 2, go up 2-0. Chicago get game 3. You know how in your first game home you come out like gangbusters, and then I feel like Milwaukee will squeak by in game 4 and come back home and close it out. So and you got to realize there's no travel in that series. Both those arenas are 90 miles apart, so it's not like you got to worry about travel and jet lag or anything. I think Chicago, that franchise has enough pride. I think, and those group of guys they got enough pride. I think where they're going to game, man.
Yeah, I think that in that series, I think it's more of, I'm not gonna say it's athleticism. I think it's really more of experience over athleticism anyway. But I think, like you said, they may get a game in.
They'll get a game in. They'll get game 3.
He's got game 3. What about you, D?
No, I feel like they'll sneak a game in. I mean, it definitely could be a sweep, but I think Chicago is not going to roll over. Not at all.
Nah, Chicago got some tough nosed guys on the team too. They'll get a game. They're not the type of team that's just going to roll over and get swept. They got enough pieces there to where they can get a game in.
Okay. All right, let's go to the next one. Atlanta and Miami.
Atlanta might get a game in.
Might that's
it's a sweep.
If it was the might, it should have been the one last night.
But they're coming back to their building and down there. Atlanta, Trae Young might get hot. And some of them guys. Miami is not like a dominant ball club. They're a good, solid team, but I don't know if they got that killer instinct in them to sweep somebody. I'm going to say Atlanta wins the next game as well, but I think that goes 5. So I'm giving Atlanta game 3. They'll lose the others.
So let me ask you this question. This is still based on that. I've heard it a couple places on the internet. Little sports groups have been talking. Do you think the comparison between Trae Young in the playoffs and James Harden in the playoffs is the same or different?
That's too soon. Trae Young last year. First of all, Trae Young took his team to the Eastern Conference Finals as a 5th seed before mid-season before they fired Luke Pierce or whatever his name was. They were a team that was like 9th or 10th in the East. They switched coaches, brought in Nate McMillan in the middle of the season. Not only did they surge, they upset the number 1 seed, and he led them to a Game 7 victory on the road. They end up losing to Milwaukee, but that was during time. I know Giannis got hurt in that series, but Trae Young was also in and out of that series with injuries as well. And he didn't play poorly. They just ran out of gas and lost to a better team. That is a silly comparison, given that when James Harden was, first of all, in Atlanta, Trae Young is undisputedly the guy. There's no second co-star there. There's no Scottie Pippen there. It's not even a Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant thing. It's not a LeBron, Dwayne Wade thing. There's no co-star there. It's just him and a bunch of role players. James Harden has played when he was in Houston. He had Dwight Howard before Dwight Howard got washed up. He had All-Star Dwight Howard. He had Chris Paul. I mean, he even had Russell Westbrook for a year. He's had talented players even when he was in Houston. Because I'm not in Oklahoma City, he choked in the finals, but he was a young guy then, and he wasn't a star player yet. But even since he's emerged as a star, I remember when Houston, when they choked in that series against San Antonio, when they had that game 6 at home. Even last year, he and Durant together. I know Irving missed that game. He and Durant together at home in a game 7 against Milwaukee. He went 3 for 21 from the field, which is a big reason they lost that game in that series. You can't. Trae Young hadn't even been around long enough to even say that about James Harden over the last decade has choked countless times over and over again. Trae Young was on the team that was an underdog team and still got a fifth seed to the Eastern Conference Finals. So I think that negative comparison, trying to say they're one and the same in that regard, I think that's silly.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was just reading it. I seen it in a couple places, and I was like, I can't put it. It's just too early. You can't really, because like I said, he did get that far with nothing basically.
Yeah,
so he is that guy undisputedly in Atlanta.
Yeah, and they don't have a co-starter. It's just him.
Yeah. So
And I think their style a little more different too. To me, I mean, not saying they both not good players, but again, like you said, Trae Young puts Atlanta more on his back than James Harden has ever did wherever he's been.
Well, James Harden's a great regular season player, but when in big moments when you need him to come through, he always comes up small.
Yeah, he never been like the guy that stands out in the playoffs to say, better watch out for James Harden. You're not gonna say that about James Harden in the playoffs.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I don't love Trae Young or anything. I don't hate him either, but I just don't think it's fair to say that he's a choke artist. It's too early to say. I'm not saying that 5 years from now this may not be a different discussion, but right now it's too early to label him as that. This year is only the second postseason in his career, and they're the 8th seed. Didn't even have any business being 8th seed. They stole a playoff spot from Cleveland because that damn play-in. Yep. And they're playing now, so they're not even supposed to win this series. So at this point, this is only the second postseason. They're the 8th seed. I don't understand how anyone can call them a choke artist yet. It's too early.
I agree. I think it's way too early for that. And the next series, Philadelphia and Toronto. I think Toronto will get a game in somewhere.
I don't know about that one.
You don't think they'll get one in?
They don't have a star player. I mean, what's Siakam gonna put him on his back? I don't.
They don't have the experience to really, for me,
I mean, they got some guys still left from that championship team. But not
no star,
Right, but they don't have a star player. Pascal Siakam is their best player, and he got Fred VanVleet. Good player. I know he made All-Star this year, but a lot of that was because they don't have anyone else. So I mean, somebody had to score. But I don't think Fred VanVleet or Pascal Siakam could put you on their back like that and win a playoff series. I don't even know if they're going to get a game in. I'm calling sweep on that one.
Sweet, bring out the brooms.
Yeah.
They might. I'd say lack of, like you said, stardom. Probably be why they get swept. I mean,
yeah.
Like I said, you don't really, like I said, Pascal, and then you have Fred VanVleet. Again, Fred VanVleet is kind of like the Kemba Walker of the Charlotte Hornets, in the sense of how she's scoring and he's pretty much the only one that's the offense.
Yeah. Before the record, Kemba Walker is prime better than Fred VanVleet. I want to make that clear.
Yeah. I'm not saying they comparing and say who's better, but just that type of how they score for the teams.
Yeah. I got you. I just want to clear that up.
No. I'm not comparing them. I'm not in this who's better, but yeah, just the way they play for the team.
All right, let's get on to the West Side. West Side, throw your dubs up. We're gonna start out with Dallas and Utah.
Who leads? That's tied up 1-1, right?
I think that's 1-1 now.
Yeah. I think Dallas wins that in 6.
Chilltown in the building. Or Dub Nation. You already know Dub Nation. Oh yeah, chill. Yeah, see them thumbs down. Shout out Channel Chilltown. Y'all go subscribe up, man. Yeah, I think that one, that's Dallas's. I think it's gonna go 5.
Is Luka still hurt?
Yeah.
You better get well.
I mean, I feel like they ain't gonna need. I mean, they need him. Not gonna say they don't need.
That's a 4 or 5 matchup. It's not like a 1-8. You need
Him.
he,
You need him.
he better get he better get well. I'll put it like that.
I feel like they're trying to see how the outcome of his turning before they put him back in right now. I don't know the extent of his injury.
He better get well.
Because that's like you said in Atlanta, he is what Trae Young is, and I mean,
and then they got rid of Porzingis too, so they don't really have a second guy with him. He better get well, or he'll have all summer to get well.
Mm-hmm.
So that one that could be a toss up. So, but
I wouldn't even think about him being hurt. When I was saying at 6, I was accounting for him being there, but he better get well. I'll put it like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I hadn't seen the reports about Game 3 of him coming back, but I know he didn't play the first two. Yeah, so get well. Let's go to the next one. We got Denver and the Dub Nation, Golden State Warriors.
I'll give Denver a game.
Think Golden State gonna go ahead and clean it out? Well, not.
Yeah, the thing is, man, Denver without Jamal Murray hadn't played all year. He got hurt in playoffs last year. Without Jamal Murray, they don't have a chance in a series like that. If Jamal Murray was there, I would call that a toss-up that can go 7. Without, and I know Jamal Murray hadn't been there all year, but my point was, without that offensive punch from Jamal Murray, I see this being a quick series. I feel like the big center, Jokic, I feel like he might will them to one game, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. But that's gonna be hard.
They can get a game in. I'm about to say, out there in the altitude in Denver, sometimes teams can get, if you run a team out, they can get winded. I'll give them a game.
Steph, Clay, and Poole, Lethal Weapon 3. Well, Poole's been playing, even showing up.
Yeah, they just got too many skilled offensive players.
Yeah, but I wonder how, as the postseason goes on, I still wonder how Clay's going to hold up, because Clay hasn't been tested defensively yet. He came off of ruptured Achilles and a torn ACL back-to-back years. Yes, he can still shoot the ball, but nobody has challenged him defensively yet. I think, and hopefully Devin Booker can get well, and we'll get to that in a minute. If you have that matchup in the West Finals, the Phoenix versus GSW, I think Chris Paul, of course, I think Curry's a better scorer. I mean, a better shooter than Paul, but Paul can hold his own and still make Curry have to play defense. Devin Booker, if he's healthy, you want to make Devin Booker go right at Klay Thompson. If I'm Devin Booker, I'm making him chase me. I'm running around screens. I'm running screen roll all day long and I'm running him like Ray Allen and Reggie Miller off of screens all day long, and gonna make Klay Thompson chase him around all day and see if Klay can guard the ball. That's what I'm going to do, if it even comes down to that. Devin Booker better get well, too, or we might not even have to worry about it. But go ahead.
Yeah. Speaking of that series, we'll get to that one as well. Phoenix and New Orleans.
New Orleans ain't even got no business there, man. I'm soapbox moment. A team won 36 dang on ball games. 36 dang on ball games. Didn't qualify, finished 9th. You had a team that won. Who was the 8th seed originally?
I think it was supposed to be
not San Antonio. Shoot.
Minnesota?
No, the Clippers. The Clippers won 4. This is some BS. The Clippers won 42 games, qualified as the 8th seed with the winning season. Because of that dumb play in, they end up playing New Orleans, and then Paul George gets put in that damn health and safety protocol, and that cost them a playoff spot when they had a playoff spot they had already earned. That's BS, man. I was about to say, you rewarded the team for mediocrity and punished the team that already did what they were supposed to do. And then because their player gets put in health and safety protocol, they end up losing the game to a team that won 36 games. That team still their playoff spot. That's BS, and Adam Silver knows it. Now back to the point. Phoenix should have enough resolve to still win this series, even if Devin Booker misses a couple games. You still got Chris Paul. You still got DeAndre Ayton. They're a much better team than New Orleans. New Orleans only won 36 games for a reason. At some point, you just have to, your guys on your team, your leaders got to say, hey, we got to win this series. They got to win the next game. They had no business losing that game at home last night. I still think, even without Book, I think Phoenix will win that in 6.
Yeah, I give them 6. I
Yeah,
guess.
chilltown Clippers lost twice, but they should have never been. They should have never been made to have to defend it. The way I look at it, you got 82 games and you finish in top 8, you should have the spot. You shouldn't have to go play a game or potentially the second game for it. That's BS and you know it. Yeah, I know the Suns have no answer for Ingram. He's just one man. I'm about to say if he was that dominant, they'd won more than 36 games. So I mean, there you have it.
There it is. I mean, I'm like you, man. That like I said,
Brandon Ingram, if you got a fantasy team, he is perfect for your fantasy team. He's gonna put up numbers, he's gonna score, and they're gonna lose.
But that's the same formula always on New Orleans had. What they call it dominated while he was in New Orleans, put up high numbers. But what did that translate when he was
Well,
there?
even when
AD.
like you said, Anthony Davis,
Yeah.
And put up numbers and they lost.
Yeah.
well,
No, he didn't have CJ the whole season. I agree with that, but CJ played in Portland all those years. They were a decent team. They weren't like they were kicking the doors, waving the 4-4s or anything. They were decent, but nothing more. And since Portland got to West Finals, they hadn't done a darn thing, even when Lillard and CJ were there together. That's not Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars. Anyway, go ahead, Nick.
now I think the semifinals, if it was to be just hypothetically speaking, so who would play each other? It would be
Well, we got to figure who's gonna win what series. You hadn't even talked about Memphis and Minnesota.
Oh yeah, Memphis and Minnesota. I forgot about that one. That was tied up 1-1 too.
I don't know that because here's the thing. I know Memphis won 56 games. They're a 2 seed, but they're just as young and inexperienced as Minnesota is. So it's almost like two equal teams. It's just one got hot later than the other. Minnesota got hot late in the season, whereas Memphis played well all along. And so I feel like Memphis a little bit better and gonna win that series. I'm gonna say Memphis will win that series in 6 games, but I think all the remaining 6 games are gonna be all hard fought, drag down, knock down, drag. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
drag out fights type thing.
Did I'm trying to think. Well, yeah, Minnesota did. They did get in the play in. I forgot about that. They played.
Yeah, but Minnesota was the 7th seed anyway. Yeah, so they just stayed where they were. They won 46 games. They deserve to be there. This ain't like a 36-win New Orleans team that stole a playoff spot because they got rewarded for mediocrity.
Could have been worse. Could have been Spurs.
And that'd have been another situation being rewarded for mediocrity. Yeah. This is the problem with our society right now because we got these sensitive liberal softies who want to give everybody participation trophies and want everybody to have a chance at everything. In life, there's some people who are better than others in certain things. Let me tell you something. It doesn't matter how much I practice. I can practice. I can go to every basketball camp in the world. I can practice. And LeBron James can sit around and smoke weed for 364 days. And if we play one-on-one, he's going to beat me every time. You know why? Because he's better than me at basketball. That's all there is to it. So there shouldn't be any rules change or anything that should make it easier for me to beat LeBron one-on-one in basketball. He's a better basketball player than me. He has more basketball talent than me, and there ain't a darn thing I can do about it. That's just the way it is in life sometimes. There are teams that are better than other teams. It shouldn't be where we should bend the rules to give everybody a chance. No, if you're not good enough, you're just not good enough.
I think they're trying to create something similar to what the NCAA has. And it's not going to be like this
ain't college, man. Like these are professionals who are getting paid.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They're trying to create that type of storyline, which it's not going to translate.
This ain't St. Peter's.
Yeah.
NBA.
That's what I think they're doing, but it's not a thing. I mean, again,
because Adam Silver is a liberal appeaser. That's why. Gosh, I can't stand him. He's too dang on liberal for me, man. And I'm not a conservative, but I'm talking about he's too dang on liberal.
Yeah, it's a point where you just gotta say, you know what? Now, come on.
He's still pushing for that mid-season tournament, that mid-season cup around Christmas time, which means nothing. Like, this is not Premier League soccer, man.
But you gotta look at it like this. Like, as far as college, that works for them. That's 6 to 18.
Right, and it's one and done. It's not the best of 7 series.
Yeah, so you gotta look at it from that standpoint.
Just like you said, a 10th seed sliding in and getting in just to get swept is going to be getting old. I mean, that's
they don't. And here's the thing: you had 82 games to get there. You didn't do your job.
Shout out to the Peacocks.
Yeah, and their coach took the job at Seton Hall. right down the road in Jersey.
Oh. Congratulations, Seton Hall.
Yeah, Seton Hall used to have some good teams back when the late Eddie Griffin and them were playing there. Even before then, they had some great teams under PJ Colesimo. They had some very good teams under the other black guy too with the gray hair.
Yeah, I was about to say that black. I can't remember his name, but
I can't remember his name either. But he had like the box haircut with the gray hair. The black guy.
yeah,
Chilltown. Who's that black guy that used to coach Seton Hall? The one that had the box haircut with the gray hair.
I can't think his name. It was around the time when my man that used to coach at Temple was still there.
John Chaney. Yeah, he was at Temple during the time. Bring the goons out.
Oh yeah, bring the goons out. Can you try to play?
And well, my Charlotte 49ers will be rejoining Temple in the American Athletic Conference in 2 years. So we were in the Atlantic 10 with them a few years ago. So we're going to reunite with Temple. We'll see them on the gridiron and on the basketball court.
What conference are going back to again?
We're going to the American Athletic Conference in 2023.
The old
better conference.
Oh, very much so. That's what Houston. I know Houston's leaving. That's conference like Houston, SMU, Temple, South Florida, UCF. UCF's leaving though, but that conference, East Carolina, that Tulane, all the UAB's coming with us too. So some familiar faces you're going to be seeing.
Okay, that'll be pretty good.
Old Conference USA.
Yeah, it's basically the old conference. Well, technically, it's the old Big East, the schools that didn't, the non-Catholic schools, but it comprises of old Conference USA teams.
Yeah.
And the current Conference USA is basically a shell of its old self.
I remember back in the day, I was like, them games used to come on TV, the 49ers basketball games.
Yeah, when they were playing like Louisville and stuff. They used to be the Metro Conference of Louisville too. And Memphis is in that conference too that we're going to. So basketball-wise, it helped being in the same conference with Memphis. So
yeah, I said football because Memphis has they kind of get a good amount of decent football.
Memphis is a very good basketball recruits. They get decent football. They have solid football teams too. They have teams in the top 25 in football.
Yeah,
they beat Mississippi State last year.
Yeah, so they had a top 25 win last year.
Yep. So Memphis is always solid. That's a solid conference full in football, and Memphis is actually staying in the conference. And basketball-wise, it'll help our recruiting because Memphis always get like top-level recruits. So now you can kind of recruit against them that'll help.
And I'm surprised UNC Charlotte. I mean, think about it, this is in the 90s, especially when they went into the tournament in the late 90s
and early mid 2000s.
How they were getting decent players, man. It shocked me how they kind of lost that type of
I blame a lot of that on athletic director Judy Rose. She was so reactive, and when the Big East raided Conference USA, and we ended up stuck in that old Conference USA, then we went to the Atlantic 10, which wasn't a good fit with all those Catholic schools, and then we went back to Conference USA because of football. And when we went back to Conference USA, there was nothing left. UAB was like the only quality program that was left, and so we kind of got stuck in a bad situation where even if you won all the games in your conference, you still weren't going to make the tournament unless you won the conference tournament. So you kind of got put in a situation like you might have been Western Carolina or something. Yeah, you'll let better. That's a shot after some issue said one time. Yeah, like something like WCU or some little lower tier program like that. So when you're in a situation like that, it's kind of hard. But now we're about to get back to the tier that we used to be and won't be stuck like some second-rate program like Western Carolina. That's a shot. You'll let better.
Those words hurt. Wait, what did he say?
When Duke and Carolina were playing, he was asking me which one I'm for. I said I don't like either one of them. He said, "Who do you root for?" I said, "I'm a Charlotte 49er fan." He said, "They have just as good of a chance to get to the Final Four as Western Carolina." I said, "No." I said, "We've already been to a Final Four before." And he said, "When?" And I was like, "If he knew his history, he would know that." I said, "Western Carolina's never even won a tournament game, so I don't want to hear it."
Have they ever been in the tournament?
That's a question that only God knows the answer to. Because I sure don't know, and I'm not about to look it up.
I can vouch for the 49ers because I've known they've been in the tournament.
It's been a minute, but we used to make it every year.
Yeah, it was in there deep.
And used to at least get to, and we'll get to the second round and stuff sometimes.
I remember that 1 year we got to the Elite Eight.
Not in my era. They lost to I remember 1 year they lost to Carolina in the second round, and I remember 1 year they beat Tennessee in the first round and lost to Illinois in the second round. So I mean they were always solid.
Yeah, they were.
In the Melvin Watkins years, they were a 5th seed. They were a 5 seed 1 year. they've had decent. They were decent. Back in 04, 03, 04, they were ranked in the top 25. They were ranked like they got as high as 18th late in the season that year, but they ended up losing to NC State. They were actually the 7th seed. State was 10th seed, and State upset them in the first round. That was the last time they made the tournament. That was 05, actually. So the program has fallen off, but the program was a respectable program, even on a national competition level. But Western Carolina's I've never even seen them on TV. So
thank you. Let me find out. North Carolina Central made the tournament before Western Carolina.
That may have happened. Like I have seen North Carolina Central 16 seed.
Yeah, Central was in the tournament not too long ago.
Right. I don't ever see Western Carolina in
there. No, I ain't either. And I seen UNC Asheville in there for Western Carolina.
Yeah. Who else want to pour on Western Carolina? Anybody familiar with Western Carolina's poured on?
The only thing they got to say they can get whooped by Alabama every year in football.
Who?
That's it. I don't think they got to go going for them. They get to play Alabama and get whooped by them every year.
No, I'm about to say they get a check. Let's say it like that.
Check, yeah. They get a check and get whooped.
Got me a check. I got a check. Jeez. Got me a check. I got a check. Yeah, that's all they got. They get beat 70-0 and get everybody injured. Anyway, we done got off topic. Go ahead and take this.
We got off topic, but I'll go get into some drama in La La Land. Don't know what carousel circus we got going on in the off season. Don't know what they're gonna do. Don't know what they're trying to do.
It's like winning time almost. No, I'm kidding.
Well, let's see what GM LeBron James what he gonna put together this time, because it seems like he runs the organization. Well, we know Jeannie Buss has the final say so, but I don't even like the way she does business. And the thing is, it's gonna be hard to get a coach because nobody wants to coach them. Doc Rivers already said he's not interested. He didn't like what he did Frank Vogel. Quinn Snyder said something similar as well. So
Mark Jackson, I doubt it.
I about to say Mark Jackson probably ain't gonna come.
Nah, I doubt it.
I want him to come there. I don't think he's gonna come there. I think Mark Jackson, if the Nets lose in his first round, I think he's going to Brooklyn.
Well, yeah, because I'm glad now we're seeing that Steve Nash didn't deserve that job, and he kind of got exploited with this, given what they went through this year. Now we're seeing that when he had to coach, he didn't show us anything.
They can't say that about Jason Kidd. I mean, I get it, you know.
Now, Jason Kidd was awful in Milwaukee, so I mean, he ought to be decent by now. I mean,
yeah.
He had a chance to sit on the bench with the Lakers. I'm not a big fan of Jason Kidd, but hey, his team was in the playoffs. They were the 4th seed. The team was already a decent team even before he ever got there, but at least he hasn't effed it up. Because when he was in Milwaukee got great after he left.
But I don't know, man. The whole thing with they're not gonna give up that much money to get rid of Westbrook. I tell you that. If somebody's got a
Westbrook contract, man.
Yeah, somebody got willing to take that for the books. They not finna just give, like, somebody's really got to want Westbrook to take some of that money without us paying all that money to him.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think he's gonna be with the Lakers next year. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he struggled at times, but even when he played well, they still lost. The biggest problem with the team is they couldn't defend. The points a lot of times were there. They were just poor defensively. It's an older team that couldn't defend the perimeter, and that's what it came down to.
And they were like, I think they were like 15th defensively efficient. That's shocking me. 15th. They play like they were 30th.
Yeah, but when they're going on field goal percentage allowed on that too. So so that's not accounting for how many times people got blown by and all that. They're just accounting for field goal percentage given up. So and 15th isn't great, but that's just middle of the road. But I mean, but most of the games they lost is because they got blitzed defensively. Secondly, when your second best player is in and out the lineup and hurt all the time, that doesn't help either. I thought that Westbrook got scapegoated. Don't get me wrong. I'm about to say he deserves criticism because he turned the ball over way too much and missed a lot of jumpers and missed a lot of shots around the rim. So I mean, a lot of criticism of him was warranted. I just don't think it's fair just to say they only won 33 games solely because of him, as if as if they're not 11 other guys on the team. Well, your bench didn't play that well. There were a lot of things that factored into why they didn't win games, and he was just only part of the reason. But you could also say that Anthony Davis not being able to stay healthy was part of the reason. You could also say a guy like Taylor Horton, a guy like Kendrick Nunn, who's supposed to be a key player who didn't play at all. I've never known anyone miss a season with a bone bruise. You could say that also factored in. You could also say that Malik Monk was hot and cold. A lot of that had to do with when with LeBron being in and out of lineup, his minutes fluctuated where it's hard for him to get rhythm, but nevertheless, inconsistency there. Inconsistency from your role players like Taylor Horton Tucker. You're getting killed on the glass a lot too. Who's our starting center? Because Dwight Howard didn't start. He started sometimes, but who's primarily the starting center?
Was it my man? What's his name? That played in Clippers. Jordan, was it Jordan
for a little while? And then they waived him. So you're talking about a guy that's completely washed up that you didn't even keep through the rest of the season. So you had nothing in the middle, and then with Davis in and out, you got killed on the glass. So, and those are things that has nothing to do with Russell Westbrook. Don't get me wrong, he deserves criticism, but they lost games. Even when he scored well, they still lost games because of those flaws that were there. To me, it's just like he's an easy target. And he's in the same vein that Cam Newton is. Like, he's like the Cam Newton of the NBA. A lot of people just pile on to him just because.
Right.
Yeah, he was a scapegoat, unfortunately.
Yeah, now don't get me wrong. Now he didn't play his best, but you gotta realize. But when people try to act like the guy's a bum, this is not fair. The guy's a multi-time All-Star and former league MVP. The guy can play. The only guy that averages triple-double in the last 50 years or so, and only the second player in NBA history to do it. And he's done it about two times at least. Oscar Robertson's the only other player to ever do it. That's still, I mean, you have to acknowledge he's a great player. It's just you can say that maybe the combination of he and LeBron and Davis that may have not been a good fit, and they didn't mesh well. Which I thought that anyway, because James is ball dominant and Westbrook is ball dominant, so I knew that was going to be an issue from Jump Street. And it's not like Westbrook's this knockdown shooter. And someone may say, well, Dwayne Wade was ball dominant. I said, but the difference there is Dwayne Wade didn't mind playing. Dwayne Wade can also play off the ball too. Right. And where Westbrook has to have the ball in his hands. Another thing is those Miami teams were so great defensively. Wade got a lot of his offensive opportunities just off of live ball turnovers and runouts. So he was still able to get his opportunities that way. And Wade is also great off the ball as well. So there's a difference there. Whereas with Westbrook's a guy who has to have the ball in his hand to be most effective. So, and someone might say, well, he played with Durant. I was like, yeah, but Durant's a great shooter too. Whereas you got he and James, neither one of them are great shooters, and they're both kind of the same style, dominate the ball, isolate, penetrate. That's just bad spacing. And I just, even when they acquired him, I said, that's not a great fit. But I think people just got caught up in the names and they wanted to do the whole big three thing. And these are all people that James wanted. These are people that he lobbied for. These are people that pretty much he said, let's bring in and assemble. He's the one that did all that talking during the offseason, talking about he's coming back with the vengeance, talking about if you're going to talk about my team, have that same energy and all that stuff. And then we're sitting here and it's almost May and watching the playoffs and he's nowhere in them.
Yeah, on the couch.
He's been with the Lakers 4 years. 2 of those years, they didn't make the playoffs. One of those years lost in the first round. We did get a championship in the bubble, but when people try to was saying when he become the greatest Laker and all that kind of stuff, nowhere close to that.
Nope.
He shouldn't even be in the Laker Mount Rushmore. To me,
and the thing about it, unlike Cleveland, and then to a lesser extent Miami, the Lakers are used to having legendary players. It's not like he was an anomaly. Like in Cleveland, you got God, you got Jesus, and then you got LeBron. In LA, with the Lakers, there's so many people. I ain't even just talking about Kobe. I'm talking about Magic. Yeah. I'm talking about West. I'm talking about Will, Shaq, Kareem. I'm talking the late great George Mikan. I'm talking about even all of those kind of people like Gail Goodrich, all the Elgin Baylor. I know Baylor never won a championship, but I'm talking about legendary players of great stature and great magnitude. We're talking about those. You got so many Hall of Famers that play with the Lakers franchise to where LeBron James coming through just like, okay, pick your spot. Here's another one. But the Lakers franchise is used to having great players.
Oh, but you already know. I'm gonna say this nicely. You know those Bron, you know what? So when he gets that scoring title, they're gonna
you know what? And I like. And we ain't even got to play beat around the bush. I know exactly what you're talking about. Now he's a friend of mine. So, yo, this is not a diss. So, buddy, if you're listening to this, I'm not dissing you, man. I'm going. You know, when next time I see you at the Bearcat game, I'm gonna hug you. I'm gonna chop it up. I'm gonna dap you up because you're my classmate and we're real cool. So Sean, I'm not dissing you. So I want to make it clear. Anybody listening to this, Sean Wheeler is a good friend of mine. He's a great guy. He's a family man. He's a great husband, a great father, a churchman, I believe, a man who's a firm believer in God and follower of Christ and all that. A great working classman, hard worker, a great guy. But we all know that he's a LeBron James lover. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
And,
well, I said, when you get that scoring title, boy, Facebook gonna be that whole timeline gonna have his name on it.
What bothers me about it, people keep saying, well, if he wins the scoring title, that'll prove he's the greatest ever. I'm like, well, if that's the case, how come Kareem is not the greatest ever? Kareem has it now, and Kareem has 6 championships too, just like Jordan does. So Kareem is a 6-time league MVP as well. So he has more MVPs, he has more championships than James, and has more MVPs than James, and 19 All-Star appearances as well. So I'm not, based on that logic, I hate how people move the needle. And I'm not about to go into a GOAT debate because that's not the conversation for tonight. But yeah, I know that his riders, they just can't wait. And who knows? Maybe I'm not wishing this on him, but he ain't got it yet. You hope he don't tear his ACL or nothing between now and then.
Yeah, you hope not. I mean, 1,300 points away. You know.
Yeah, 40-something games. If he averages what he averaged last year, which I doubt if he averaged 30, that the average is going to drop a little bit. But if he plays about 40-something games, he should be able to get it if he's able to average 26, 27, 28 points like on the clip that he normally averages.
Yeah. He should be able to get it in.
As long as he's healthy, he'll get it. Like I said, barring a torn ACL, ruptured Achilles, or something like that, or like during the off season where he's on the preseason where he has some injury that puts him out a long time. Barring anything like that, he'll get it.
Let's jump to the East Coast because I've been hearing a couple of rumors about the Queen City as far as basketball. I've seen it a couple of times. I don't know if the story was true.
If it ain't about firing James Borrego, I ain't got nothing to talk to you about. Go ahead.
Well, that too. That was one of the stories.
Oh.
And the other one was, do y'all think Melo Ball will stay after his rookie contract is up?
Yes, because I think they're not going to wait till his rookie contract, so they're going to give him the extension before it even gets to that.
I'll say this, not to cut you off. I feel like they're going to give him his max deal next summer. He will get his max.
If I was them, I'd do it this summer.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to be this summer, honestly. Let me say this. What he has done for Charlotte, he has basically enlivened the city again about the Hornets. One time, Hornets was Hornets/Bobcats were a forgotten anomaly, especially when it came to the NBA. Even when it came, even when they changed the name, they wasn't as relevant as they are now. They have, I guess, the entertainment value of how they play now. And Ball brings that to Charlotte.
And they're a better team because of him too, not just entertainment.
Yeah, they are a better team with him.
It's say this: a guy that's 20. I'll say this initially. Whenever it came up the year he got drafted, I wasn't sold on him. And the reason is because I didn't really see nothing besides the fact what he did in high school. But I would say the international ball, pro level ball, has definitely matured his game. So when he came over, you could definitely tell how that translated into his game now. I mean, he's good, man. You can't.
I think he's gonna by the time he retires, he's gonna be one of the all-time great point guards, and mentioned in the same breath as Magic Johnson. That's what I believe.
I see that.
I feel like that's the player that he remind me, or that I'm so reminded of so much of when I see him play is Magic Johnson. The way he can
with his height. He even built like Magic, like the lanky body and all that.
Yeah. The way he can move the ball. I mean, he doesn't have that flash and dribble, but he can just get to the lane, and if he wants to score, he can dish. He can dish it. His shot is like this shit. His 3.
Yeah, he just got to get a little more efficient with his jump shot. If he can get more efficient with his jump shot, but Magic wasn't a great jump shooter either. So I mean,
he was a good scorer, but he wasn't a shooter.
Right. I mean, LaMelo's biggest hindrance is his head coach. Anytime he gets hot or get in the groove, his coach will yank him out the game and keep him on the bench and then put him back in when he's cold, almost of his personal. I think what's going to happen, I don't think he's going to leave after the rookie contracts. They're not going to they're going to offer him an extension before they're not going to let him hit free agency. They're going to offer him probably 5 years, $175 million off the jump, and he's going to take that. I'm not saying that he'll never leave Charlotte, but he's not going to leave right now. It'll be maybe maybe 6 years from now, where he'll still only be 26 years old or 27 years old, depending on where the franchise is at that point, the state of the franchise.
But as far they got to get that new coach. Now that'd be a good spot for Mark Jackson to start building right there.
That's why I feel like Mark Jackson fit perfect here.
I do too, and he's a good molder of point guards too, and he would change the defensive culture. So I think that's a perfect fit as well. And when it comes to LaMelo Ball, if they sign him to an extension and he says, "I don't want to play for Coach James Borrego," star player can always get rid of a coach.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
They'll make that move in a heartbeat. You know.
Yeah, and I know Vince Dunlap don't want to hear me say this, but Vince, I don't know why you love James Borrego so much. I'm like, are you on his payroll
too? Like boy, whenever he win a game, boy, he's batting him like he's about like
Sean with LeBron.
Yeah.
Right.
But here's the thing, and I think you and Vince might even be classmates. But here's the thing, and Vince is a good friend of mine. He was my realtor when I bought my house, so I'm giving him a plug. Yo, if you're looking in the buying or selling process for a home in the greater Charlotte area, he's licensed in North and South Carolina. Vince Dunlap, he's a professional. He's proficient. He's efficient. He's gonna make sure that you have all the resources you need. He's an advocate. He's going to speak well for you. He's intelligent. He's a master of his process, and he's a great person to represent you. Now I done got the good stuff out of the way. But when it comes to James Borrego, and then when they lose, nothing is ever Borrego's fault in his eyes. It's like everything that good happened, Borrego deserves credit for, and anything that's bad that happens, he had nothing to do with it. I'm like, what are you watching? Do you see this man's rotation? Do you see anytime a guy like Ball or Bridges would have get hot, he'll yank him out the game and bring in Cody Martin, who's ice cold, and then bring Ball back in there when he's cold? I'm like, what are you watching? Here's another example. That game against Miami where he didn't play Montrezl Harrell at all, and they asked him why he didn't play Montrezl Harrell, and he said because we were trying to play small ball. You know, Montrezl Harrell's 6'7". He's a small ball center. He's the perfect person at center when you're trying to play small ball. And every team he's been on, he's been small ball big. But your excuse was because you're trying to play small ball when he's a 6'7" small ball center, and when he would be the perfect guy for that style of offense, if that's what you're trying to do. That shows a man that has complete ineptitude when it comes to his rotations. And he has this cult following. And join the Charlotte Owners group on Facebook, moderated by Vince Dunlap. He's a great guy, but I don't know why Vince is so in love with James Borrego. I just don't see what it is.
My dad can't stand him, man. My dad cannot stand James Borrego.
I can't either. My uncle can't stand him either.
I'm not going to repeat what it says because, you know.
But James Borrego, he's not a head coach. He needs to be an assistant. I think what he came from Popovich tree. But a lot of great coaches, their assistants don't try to be good. Like Phil Jackson never had an assistant that was any good as a head coach. So sometimes great coaches, the people try to pluck, just like Bill Belichick doesn't have a great coaching tree. A lot of great Bill Walsh is the exception. Bill Walsh had a great coaching tree. Guys like Dennis Green, guys like Mike Holmgren, guys like Andy Reid, guys like great Dennis Green. Now, Bill Walsh is the exception. He's the one coach in professional sports that had a great coaching tree where his understudies went on to become excellent coaches and have immense success as well as head coaches. Aside from Bill Walsh, I can't think of another legendary head coach in the NBA who had coaches who were under his tree that went on to become great coaches.
Well, I think the Hornets will do what they got to do to keep. I know they're gonna keep Melo there.
All you gotta do is put a dollar sign, some numbers, and a bunch of commas, and then that'll keep him for another 5 years.
Oh yeah, I think he's gonna give Charlotte a chance. So let me say it that way. If like the money,
if they pay him, he'll be here. He'll be here another 5-6 years if they pay him.
Yeah. I see that. I don't think he's going to turn his back on this. I mean, I think he
knows he's the guy.
He knows he's the guy in Charlotte now. I mean, the city is embracing him. You know, like I said, you got to see. I mean, like the games I watched this year, I ain't never seen so many celebrities at the game just to come to see him play. Like, even, like I guess when Atlanta came, what was it? Atlanta? It was a game, the last home game they had before the maybe the Washington game. It was like one of the last home games they had so many different guys there just watching the game. Even the playing game in Atlanta was just because of that
Yeah.
star power.
I'll be back on camera in a second. I'm just going to get my phone charger.
All right.
But,
I'm still talking though. I'm
but
listening.
yeah, I mean, I just think it's a lot of. I mean, besides the fact what they're dealing with James Borrego, it's a lot of upside that Charlotte has when it comes to potential. Like this offseason, you know, they got 2 draft picks. They got a draft pick from New Orleans because they actually got into the playoffs.
Trade them draft picks and get a quality player. I'll ship both the picks off.
Yeah, and I would say honestly, I agree to you. I'll send both of those picks because to me, it's nothing really.
If Borrego's coach, they're just gonna sit on the bench anyway. Just like James Bucknight buried on the bench the whole season. And at any time James Bucknight got minutes, he actually was productive. But for whatever reason, this man just sat him on the bench. And he tried to do the same thing with Ball last year, but Ball was just too good, and he had no choice but to play him, and he did so reluctantly.
Oh yeah, definitely. You definitely seen how he tried to, keep him.
He tried to baby and hold his rookies back and try to treat them like children.
Yeah, he don't need to do that. I mean, that's
he's a college coach trying to teach freshmen a lesson.
Nah, he don't need to do that. Bucknight, I mean, he's 6'4", 6'5", kind of. Is he?
Yeah.
I mean, he'll be perfect the way they ball. They play now that up tempo. He can get to the rim. He can shoot. He gets a good rhythm. But like you said, you're not giving him a chance to get his feet wet in the NBA. I mean, of course, yeah, he's doing good in the DBL, but you need to let that game translate into the NBA.
Well, when Cody Martin got hurt and they put him in the rotation, he played well when he was allowed to play.
Yeah, he did. He played real good. I mean, one night he scored what 20, 24, 20, like he scored in like 24, 25 one night.
Right.
I mean, that wasn't like he was throwing up a lot of shots. They were like good,
And that was a meaningful game. And like he had a couple games where he scored pretty well when they actually played him. And I'm like, why are you not playing the guy? But for whatever reason, James Borrego can do no wrong. And James Bucknight should be our starting 2 guard next year. You put him in Ball in the backcourt.
Yeah, I said that too. I feel like they can definitely be a great backcourt tandem if you let them get some time on the court together.
Right, and Rozier is your best asset to get a big, like because Rozier is not a star, but he's good enough to where teams would want him. If you're trying to we know we need some front court help. Like us, if you're trying to get somebody in front court, Rozier's the guy. You got those 2 draft picks you could trade. You got those to work with. That should be trade bait, not to be trying to draft players. That should be trade bait. You got both of those. You got a guy like Rozier who teams will take. You even got a guy like the guy that we got from Golden State, the guard.
Oubre.
Huh?
Yeah, Kelly Oubre.
Yeah, you got enough shooters and backcourt people that you could trade to get a big. And I'm not saying trade all of them, but I'm talking about some combination of that. I would like to keep Oubre if you can, because you don't really need Rozier and Oubre, especially if Bucknight emerges as starting 2 guard. Rozier's a guy you might can heist somebody for. He's already under contract with what he got, whatever. He got a friendly contract, make about $20 million a year, but only got about 2 years left on that. A team would be glad to take him on for a couple of years. Let's say a team like Milwaukee, who's trying to continue to stay a championship team, they'll take him and have him come off, be their scorer off the bench.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who you could get at center, or what kind of center would you like to have? Because even a guy like Clint Capella will work for us. I mean, I know he's under contract with Atlanta. Now I doubt they're just going to hand him over, but I'm just saying that kind of guy would be perfect. We don't need Shaquille O'Neal. No, we just need a guy who can run the floor, take care of the glass, block shots, maybe give you 10, 12 points, and that's it.
I'm telling you who I like. I mean, I haven't seen his game translate, but he got a decent amount of we got paid this summer with Sacramento. I want to see if we can get Rashawn Holmes. I think he's a decent big.
I haven't seen them play. I'll tell you someone I think we can get on the low who can do what we need him to do. I think a guy like Willie Cauley-Stein will be fine with us.
I would say I think he wasn't in the right team, like the right scheme, because the way he played in Kentucky, I mean, he was unstoppable to me. Like,
well, I mean, I'm not looking for him to score 20 points a game.
just to be in that president inside. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
One thing about Willie Cauley-Stein, he plays hard on the glass. He's a rim
yeah,
protector. He defends. He can defend pick and rolls and he
yeah,
has mobility and he can switch off on defenders, that kind of thing. And he sets good screens. If you had a guy like Willie Cauley-Stein, you'd be okay. Now, if I was getting rid of Rozier, I want a little bit more than Willie Cauley-Stein. I want Willie Cauley-Stein and something and a shooter too.
I know people throw Turner name out there, but I'm reluctant on him.
Turner's a decent offensive player, but I don't see him as just rim protector and rebounder. He just a guy that can score a little bit. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, now I mean you could use that, but I want somebody that's an intimidator. When you run up in the lane, he's gonna block your shot.
Yeah.
And then those guys don't come a dime a dozen, and everyone keeps talking about Rudy Gobert. I'm like, let's be realistic. Rudy Gobert just got a $200 million contract. Like,
yeah.
Let's be realistic. I don't know why people say some of the dumb stuff they say.
Exactly. Like they really don't know the logistics of
the
business part of it. Like you can say, oh, we need this and that, but books is what's going to be the key factor of how you make transactions in the NBA. No team that's not going to give up a player or not going to take on a contract because of the value of it. Just like Westbrook is a prime example. Who wants to take on $47 million?
Right.
Yeah, and when they were putting those rumors linking the Hornets to Westbrook, I'm like, what are they talking about? First of all, we got a point guard. We got a 20-year-old point guard who's already an all-star. Why would we want to go after a 33-year-old who's going to be 34? Like, what sense does that make, man?
Some people just, I mean, and it's sad. It's actual, I ain't going to say the reputable websites, but they pretty well-known, like little sites, they come up with these scenarios or whatnot, just throwing it out there like it's a possibility. Like some teams are really gonna take that. Like we'll take Westbrook. Like, come on, man, that's that doesn't even make any sense. Like, why would?
Yeah,
it makes zero sense at all. I'll tell you another big guy, like, and I know people might think like, oh, are you serious? But I'm talking about where you ain't got to spend a whole bunch of money, but he could do the job. Nerlens Noel. I'm talking about as far as taking care of the glass.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind like getting Nerlens Noel and then get like Willie Cauley-Stein to back him up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Then you got both of them, and you can rotate between both of them. Both of them can also play a little bit of power forward and stuff as well. And Willie Cauley-Stein likes coming off the bench, so that gives you a solid big man rotation.
Yeah.
And neither one of them make a lot of money. But like I said, one of those guys, a guy like Nerlens Noel, will be fine.
Yeah, I think he'll fit good.
Or you can let Montreal Harrell back him up like he's doing if you keep him. You all you need is a coach, and then if you can get someone in the middle, like but Nerlens Noel, they're perfect fit in the middle. He's an excellent defender. He can defend pick and rolls. He can switch out on other defenders. He can switch on the pick and roll, and he's a good shot blocker and a good rebounder. And he might give you 9 or 10 points a game, but you're not looking for him to do a bunch of scoring.
No, and with Ball, you need defensive presence, and that's what they lack. I mean, like you look at like the last 3. Well, I would say minus the year we had Dwight Howard. After Dwight Howard, Cody, Cody Zeller, and now Plumlee.
Well, to me, that's one and the same. I get it mixed up. Last time I keep thinking they're the same guy.
Yeah, like you're not getting you 7'1" and you getting dunked on by somebody 6'4", 6'5" every night. That isn't. How does that translate as a big man? You know, and that's why a lot of times teams set the tempo on us and win. You know, because
like if Nerlens Noel the Knicks now, like that's like when Nerlens Noel, I would give them the 15th pick for Nerlens Noel.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna play whoever you drafted to. You ain't gonna play no way.
No, that's why I say too. Why we even? I'm. That's why I'm at right now. Like, yeah, that's some great asset, but when you got Kai Jones, you got a book night. You basically had 2 draft picks, first rounds last year.
Yeah,
and you're not utilizing those guys, and they have potential.
Oh yeah, I'll give up the 15th pick. If I'll give up the 15th pick for Nerlens Noel, who knows? Maybe get 13 for Willie Cauley-Stein and get them both.
Yeah.
Or if you're trying to get someone who's a pure shooter, or let's say if you're trying to get a shooter at power forward like a Porzingis, I don't want Porzingis to get hurt all the time. I'm just using that as an example. Mm-hmm. You can give up like a Rozier and the 13th for Porzingis. I'm just using that. You can do something like that. I don't even know where Porzingis at now. I ain't watched him somewhere like that. But,
Yeah, he's with the Wizards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want Porzingis. I mean, he's just like Anthony Davis. He made of glass.
Yeah, he'll shatter in a minute.
Mr. Glass Jr.
And then some of that talk about Kemba Walker come back to Charlotte. I'm like, I don't want him now. I'm like, we ran him into the dirt when we had him. You know what I'm saying?
They better keep the IT on the bench if they're gonna bring back Kemba Walker.
Yeah, I'm about to say he lost his spot in the rotation with the Knicks.
Yeah.
In Boston didn't want him. I mean, some of the stuff that people come on, and I like Kemba Walker. I respect him. He's a great player, but his knees are gone.
Yeah, he's not gonna be reliable, even if you did bring him off as a backup, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, well, since Portland trying to blow stuff up or whatever, because Portland, I think, is in blow it up mode, they traded McCollum out, and I think a little bit going, hey, what's up with Nurkic, man? What he up to?
I heard that too. I heard that might be a viable move they might try to go for.
Hey, I'll do it. I'll give up Terry Rozier, the 13th pick.
I think that's all you would have to give up, honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe a second round.
Because Portland wants draft picks.
Yeah.
I'll get the 13th and the 15th. But just see if they all take that first, and then they don't want that. Maybe and then maybe I'll say with Terry Rozier in the 13th or something like that.
Yeah. Because they're gonna probably want to guard if, like you said, if they go in full blow up mode, you know, they're gonna probably try to.
Well, if they're going in full blow up mode, they probably just want as many picks as they can get. I'll give 13th and 15th for Nurkic by itself. And if you have to throw in there, we got no players where you can throw in there and make the salaries work. Even if you have to give up a PJ Washington or something, so be it.
Yeah.
Can't keep everybody.
Yeah, PJ is probably gonna be. I feel like he's still gonna be the odd man out after next year anyway.
And there's nothing wrong with PJ Washington. I'm just saying, but somebody can't keep everybody. If Nurkic is on
everybody, I mean, Miles is pretty much playing for his contract. I mean, which I think he's going to get in.
I'll sign him back. You got to sign. If you're trying to build, you can't just let everybody go. You got to sign him back.
Yeah, I think he's going to be back.
Him back.
Unless they can get PJ to do some type of mid-level extension. But if not, he's probably going to try to go somewhere and get that big contract as well.
Well, he ain't good enough for that. But still,
But
like I said, if Portland is trying to just blow up and get draft picks, we got the 13th and 15th. I'll give them the 13th, the 15th, and to sweeten it up, I'll give them the first round of next year too. Because if we got a good playoff team, that first round of next year not gonna matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say you can take that too. This is not the NFL. You don't really build through the draft in the NBA. The NFL in the NBA, the NFL, you build your teams to draft. In the NBA, you build the trades for agency, and you use the draft pick to leverage your assets.
Yeah.
Because in the NBA, if you're not picking 1, 2, or 3, your pick doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, luckily the year we got Melo was probably the luckiest thing that ever happened.
Yeah, to be fair, to get Miles, we got Miles Bridges at 12. Well, we didn't draft him. It was a draft day trade. We drafted Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. In hindsight, I wouldn't mind keeping him, but still, you drafted Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and did a draft day trade with whoever for with the Clippers for Miles Bridges. But anyway, Miles Bridges was a 12th pick in draft. That's not a bad pick of a 12th pick in draft.
Compared to what we had at small forward.
Like whatever he drafted at 10th or 11th or whatever, he's not. You got I know people being really hard on Mitch Kupchak, but the roster that he's drafted has been really. He drafted LaMelo Ball, he drafted Miles Bridges, he drafted PJ Walker, he acquired Terry Rozier and all the with the Kemba Walker. He handled the Kemba Walker thing perfectly. I'm about to say the only thing he hasn't done is gotten a good center.
Yeah, if he can do that, I think he's definitely has reshaped the team. I mean, I feel like he's done it now. Like you said, he just ain't got a center, but unfortunately,
ain't got a coach. And I think Borrego was already there before he got there.
I think so too. I think that was already kind of process where he was already in line to get that job.
Yeah, I'm thinking because Clifford was already fired by the time Mitch got there.
Yeah, I think Clifford was. Yeah, he got. I think he knew he was fired. I think he just coached the rest of the season pretty much.
Yeah. The thing with Clifford, I actually thought Clifford was a decent coach. He hasn't had nothing to work with. Yeah. And I think by the time he got fired, I think it was to the point where they just needed a new voice. It wasn't that he was bad. I don't have a problem with Clifford. I think at the time it got to the point where it just wasn't going to work out anymore, and it was just time to go in a different direction. But I still think if Clifford was in the right situation, he could be decent. Orlando, he got in the playoffs one time. They didn't really have anything. like Clifford would be okay with the Lakers if they would listen to him.
Yeah, so he probably would have been a better fit. I mean, unfortunately, Clifford just had a sorry GM.
Rich show, yeah.
And
So I
his
mean,
team
but Borrego has
was
shown me nothing. I know Vince doesn't like to hear me say that, but he has shown me nothing. I
Wow.
just don't get the love fest. And people keep talking about, well, remember we had Mike Dunlap. I'm like, what the hell that got to do with anything? So we had him. So that gives everyone else an excuse not to get the job done because we had, and people talking, well, you remember we won 7 games when we had Mike Dunlap? I said, first of all, Mike Dunlap wasn't the coach when we won 7 games. It was somebody else. Mike Dunlap came the year after that. We won 21 games, and that was the 1 year he was there and got fired. So, but WFNZ keep talking about we went 7-59 in the 66 game season with Mike Dunlap. Mike Dunlap was not the head coach that year. I don't know who the coach was because we had so many. But Mike Dunlap became the coach the year after that. And they went 21-61, and he got fired after 1 year. That's when they brought in Steve Clifford. I don't know who. Paul Silas coached him for a little while after Larry Brown. I don't know who coached him that year. They won 7 games.
Yeah, that was just a rough time, especially as Bobcats.
Yeah, and after they won 7 games, that's when they drafted Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. Is he still in the league?
Nope.
Nah.
He's on the team. I just can't remember where.
I don't think he's done.
He was on somebody's team.
He was like when he got, when they let him go and got picked up like that.
He was in Dallas or something like that.
He went to Dallas, but after that, they let him go. He's an advocate now for speech impediment.
For real?
They're dead serious. Yeah.
He couldn't shoot and he couldn't talk.
Yeah, he's advocating. He's like going around, having seminars about,
He also has a shooting impediment too. I'm about to say so. You notice they ain't hosting no shooting camps. I can shoot better than him, and I'm not being funny. I can't do it. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not good enough to play in the NBA. Not even close. Not even good enough to play on somebody's rec team. But I'm talking about before just standing a wide open shot, I got a better chance of hitting an open shot than he does.
Which is true.
Yeah.
He didn't have the best shot in the world.
Yeah, I mean, make it argue that they had the worst one. But
yeah,
he did not, and people kept trying to defend him as well. When I mean, it's trying to justify him as well. Well, he's an elite defender. He's a lockdown defender. I said, who the hell is lockdown? I said, how many all defensive teams do you make?
Nah.
Right. Tony Allen's a lockdown defender. He can't shoot either, but he truly is a lockdown defender, and you can feel his impact. When he was with the Celtics, he was guarding Kobe Bryant, you can feel the impact. When he played with Memphis and he was guarding the other team's best players, you can feel the impact. I'm not saying that he was a good defender, solid defender, but I'm talking he was a solid NBA defender, but not anything that was like eye-popping where he was going to win Defensive Player of the Year or make a first-team All-NBA defense. Never made a second-team or third-team All-Defense either. So, but it kept saying, well, he's a lockdown defender. I said, who did he lock down? Anytime someone said that, I said, tell me who he locked down and when he locked him down.
Was that Melo that scored 50 on one time? I can't remember.
Well, there you go. I don't remember either, but there you go. He's a lockdown defender. He's a lockdown defender. I said, who did he lock down?
Nobody.
I ain't seen him lock nobody down.
Nobody.
He's just a solid defender, nothing more. And that's why he ain't in the league no more.
Yep.
And this guy was the second pick in the draft.
Talking about bust. That's definitely.
And then I remember when they gave him that $40 million extension, and the news and the local media was like, "This is really a discount. This is a steal." I'm like, nobody don't want his ass. Talking about something, we really got him for a discount. It's like if we let him hit free agency, his price would have really like nobody didn't want him. Talking about something, they got him for a discount. Nobody didn't want his ass. You could have gave him away for we would have taken a bag of potato chips to get rid of him. And talking about some that was a disc. I mean, that extension wasn't crippling. It was only a $40 million extension. But talking about we really got him at a discount. Like, we ought to be very excited and happy about this. I'm like, they could have let him walk for a bag of potato chips right then, and I'd have been fine. I didn't even want anything in return for him. I just wanted him gone. Michael Keith. I'm like, come on, man. But and then they were like, well, we should have got that was the year we got screwed in the lottery. We could have had AD. I'm like, yeah. I'm saying the funny thing about it, from the time the AD was in New Orleans and the time that we had Michael Gilchrist Charlotte, both franchises only made the playoffs twice in that same time frame.
Yep.
Only difference, they did win one series one time, and we didn't win any series. But other than that, we basically did the same thing. So just like we could have had AD, but he already proved that as the guy that he wasn't going to carry you anywhere. He was just going to put up numbers and you're going to lose.
Yeah.
And then he ran
all the players that were drafted after those two players.
Yep. So I get tired of that. Oh, we could have had AD. AD ain't got no business on the top 75 all-time players. First of all, he don't play enough games to be on that. I ain't even gonna get into that, but I think you can tell I'm not an AD guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I'm not either.
And I hope the Hornets don't even try to entertain that either. So.
Nah, I'm about to say we got enough broken glass. That's like broken glass everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm worried about trying to figure out what we got to do. Mr. Humpty Dumpty.
My phone acting up again.
Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, I'll probably let him go off season probably.
That contract.
Yeah, so yeah. I think the Charlotte Hornets, if they can get a decent coach in there and just let Mitch continue to build a team, I think if they can build around LaMelo Ball properly, it's a team that in the next 2 or 3 years could be in the NBA Finals.
Yeah,
and this is being recorded.
Oh, yeah.
I still say this is an opportunity that Charlotte got to capitalize right now if they want to be a team that gets to the finals.
Right. Kevin Durant and the boys getting older.
Yep.
Embiid probably one torn ACL away from not being relevant.
Or done.
Miami, all them guys, Butler and all them getting older. Right now, within the next 2 or 3 years, some of those other teams are going to be on the decline, and we could be on the ascension. But where it could come down to like us in Philadelphia, with James Harden getting older too, I think right now, I think we're the next big thing.
Yeah.
If they could build properly with what they got. If they don't do stupid stuff, let Mitch do his job, get rid of that sorry coach. I think this is a team within the next 3 years. We'll say what's it now, 2022? I say this is a team in 2025 that could be competing for the NBA Finals. I say at least in the Eastern Conference Finals, we'll say that.
Yeah, Eastern
Conference. Okay, yeah, I agree with that.
Before the Gordon Hayward debacle.
Man, we got to get rid of that contract, man.
Yeah. The Hornets were 5th, if I wasn't mistaken. They were 5th in the East. Not to say that he's the reason why they were the 5th, but
he's a good player when he plays.
Yeah, but that hurts.
Yeah, and then when he got hurt, then all of a sudden, right before the play-in, he having foot pain and can't go. I'm like, you know what? That was the last straw for me.
Yeah, that was it for me right there. Like right there, you know, you in a boot. So
speaking of trade bait, I forgot about him. You could dump him for trade bait if trying to get somebody.
Yeah, I would say if you can move him, that'll be the first person to move.
I would send him to Indiana for a bag of potato chips. The reason why I said that, he played at Butler, which is in Indianapolis. Indiana, just going to sound bad, but they have a history of liking to acquire good white players. And I'm just not me trying to say anything. I'm not saying it's a bad thing or anything. I'm just saying they're known to try to attract good, like the Utah Jazz the same way. They like to attract, and to a lower extent, the Celtics, they like to attract good white players. And I think that Gordon Hayward will be, when he's healthy, is a very good player, and it fits that mold of what the Indiana Pacers like to have for their fan base. And I think, and the fact that he played at Butler in Indianapolis, and the Pacers play in Indianapolis, that'll be a homecoming. They ain't got to give me Turner or nothing for him. Just take the contract. Give me who's somebody play? Give me Cassius LeVert or something. Hell, we'll just deal with that. Just take the contract.
He's a 3. He's a 2-3, 2 in.
And they're a big guy you can have off your bench. And even if you don't keep Cassius LeVert, even if you're gonna waive him as soon as you get him, just get that contract off.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely get that contract now.
Like whoever they give us, we ain't even got to keep them. I'll take one of their expiring contracts. Someone they trying to get rid of, just get that contract off. Because Indiana's in a state of limbo. They don't know what they're trying to do. They got DeMontis Sabonis. They might be thinking we get Sabonis and Hayward. They might be they got rid of Sabonis. They traded Sabonis to
they in rebuild. I mean, they in rebuild mode. So I mean,
they're not going to take the contract if they're in rebuild mode. I forgot that they sent Sabonis to Sacramento.
Ooh.
I forgot all about DeMontis Sabonis got traded to Sacramento. That just
into the land of the Queens.
Yeah, and then Sacramento traded Tyrese Halliburton in that deal too. He's in Indiana now.
Yeah, he's there.
He ain't no bad player at small forward either.
I was shocked about that trade, to be honest with you.
He was too.
Yeah, I mean, when he was a front runner the year with Melo for what?
Yeah, he was a rookie last year, just like Ball was, and was like third in rookie of the year for him.
Yeah,
I take Tyrese Halliburton. But if Indiana's in rebuild mode, they probably will keep Halliburton because he's a young player instead of that Hayward contract is going to be hard to get rid of too. It's not as bad as Westbrook's though, because it's only $30 million a year, not 40. But
I think you could throw some picks in there and entice some teams. I think that could.
Because I'm like, with his injury history makes it hard.
Yeah.
And I read somewhere where he was looking for a change of scenery. I said, hell, we don't want you either. So
That was it. Oh, you really want to change scenery? Hope someone finds somewhere for you that's suitable.
Man, you know what? Since he want to be like that, trade him to the Knicks. That's what. If you want to get even with somebody, want to teach him a lesson, trade him to the Knicks.
Oh, yeah, he wanted to go there in the first place.
Trade him to the Knicks. Man, take that, MF. If you want to get back at somebody, want to do somebody. Back in the day, in the NFL, if you wanted to really hurt a player, if you trade him to the Browns, when the NBA trade a player to the Knicks was kind of like the equivalent. Trade him to the Knicks.
The Knicks.
Give him to the Knicks, and they take stupid deals like that all the time.
Because they probably want those picks.
Even without the picks, they just they love taking on anybody who has a semblance of a name. And they will boo him mercilessly too, but still trade him to the Knicks.
Kwame Brown.
Kwame Brown. I'm trying to think who the Knicks got that I won't. I like Julius Randle, but we don't need him. Noel. There it is. I wouldn't even. I said, give me Nerlens Noel and give me another role player. Gordon Hayward is a good enough player, but I want a little bit more than Noel by himself. Give me something else. What else they got down there in New York? Up there in New York. You know what? We'll take Kemba Walker's contract back and then waive him.
Yeah, dude, hit that Melo on him.
Yeah, and then waive him or something, or see if he want to retire and give him like a nice little ceremony and stuff.
Yeah,
throw a parade for him.
Because I don't know about. Well, yeah, you get Noel. That'll be the part. That'll probably be the piece.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of somebody else. Because you're not going to get RJ Barrett or something like that.
Yeah, you ain't getting Barrett.
Not Barrett or Randall.
I don't want Randall.
Randall
I like him, but I don't need him. He's too inefficient.
He wants out anyway, but like I said, it ain't worth it.
Yeah. Maybe Derrick Rose is backup point guard. Throw that in there too.
Yeah.
Like you give up Gordie Hayward and maybe one of our backup guards for Nerlens Noel and Derrick Rose.
That'd be a pretty good pickup. You got Rose coming off the bench. He can get you 10, 15 a night.
Before he tears ACL, yeah.
We hope that's not going to happen
again. He hasn't torn it in a while. Now it's been 3 or 4 years since he last torn one.
I think he realized he can't do all that.
Well, you got to realize who he's playing for too. The same coach he played for now is the same coach that he tore it for.
Yeah, Tom Thibodeau. Yeah. I'm just trying to think of because with the Knicks thing, that Hayward for Noel. That makes sense. Even if but give me a couple of young players with it though, like some young role players to go, like another young role player to go with that though.
What about Burke?
Trae Burke?
Do they got
Trae Burke?
Yeah.
Fine. I'll take just to get the deal. Even if you don't keep Burke, just to make the deal happen.
Yeah.
We got any score updates on the Nets and
pulling it up now. Celtics are up 5 with 4 remaining in the
game.
Yeah, in the game. 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
But that's still a little too tight. Guy like Durant come down, hit a couple threes, and next thing you know.
Well, 6 now.
Somebody hit a free throw.
Yeah, they must be at the free throw line.
That's still kind of tight. You gotta get it out about 10, 15.
Yeah, Marcus. So they'll probably be 7 if he hits the second free throw. So They'd be up 7 if he hits it.
Yeah, they.
I just saw a breaking report. Darren, can you look into this? I just saw on my alert on my phone saying another Charlotte high school got to forfeit all his football games from last year. We know that Myers Park had to forfeit theirs. Can you look into that? Just type in Charlotte high school forfeits games and see who it was.
Let me see.
Man, my hair would be great.
Myers Park.
We know. Well, they had a forfeit game. I can't remember why, but they had forfeit games. But they're just saying now that another Charlotte school, but I can't. It would take me out this thing if I pull the article up.
Okay.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Superintendent.
Yeah.
Now this.
I know a lot of people didn't like him, but I'm not going to get on here and talk drunk about him, and I think you guys know why.
Oh yeah, I'm not bashing. It's crazy how.
Yeah, I mean he's gotten bashed, and he's gotten bashed by people that I wouldn't think would be so anxious to get on TV and bash him. And I don't know a thing about him because I don't have any children. I don't have anybody in CMS. So I don't know what he's done, good or bad. But I'm just not going to get on here and bash him.
Right. I only know the situation. What happened with him? What was the?
Just the I guess overall, what they based it upon was, again, it's not to bash them. They based it upon like overall performance of the schools, kind of like with things happening and a lot of controversy in that manner.
Yeah, I guess parents don't want to raise their own kids, so you better blame the education system.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, trying to say
because he don't live with everybody's kids.
Nope.
Don't raise them either.
Nope.
He just there to give them an education and provide a good education.
Yep.
So
he's still gonna get paid that $541,000 over the next 2 years.
Hey, I would.
I'm glad he didn't resign because they gave him choice to resign or get fired. I'm sure his lawyer told him, "You better not resign. You get fired, you get to keep that money."
Oh yeah.
So is it Myers Park?
Well, Myers Park that's already known, but it's another.
Oh no, it's West Charlotte.
I thought we were talking about somebody. Oh, I got a homegirl that's working administration in West Charlotte. Shout out to Dr. Tamara Glover. Tamara, hit me up. I gotta find what happened to your West Charlotte line. She go to all the games, so I might hit her up after we get off this podcast to find out what happened.
Yeah, my niece went to West Charlotte.
A lot of great football players. Pep Hamilton, former Indianapolis Colts offense coordinator, former University of Michigan offense coordinator, former Stanford offense coordinator. He played quarterback at West Charlotte.
Well, I didn't think they.
West Charlotte had a good year last year. They got to like third round of 3A playoffs.
I'm trying to think what. I mean, I guess it was I'm pretty sure it's got something to do with players. I already.
I don't. You know what? I don't want to speculate without having the facts. What I can do. I can reach out to Tamara after I get off this call. I mean, off of this podcast, and I can find out what happened.
Okay.
Now, she works there. And that's like my homegirl. So.
Gotcha. Well, we at the hour and 28-minute mark. Probably finna close it on out for the night. Bring no pickup truck into the shop. I'm gonna give y'all the flow. I'm gonna start with you first, T.
All right. Man, a whole lot of changes has been last. For us wrestling fans, man, we lost the legendary Ooze of Machismo, the bad guy, Scott Hall. Some call him Scott Hall, some call him Razor Ramon. It didn't matter. You knew who the bad guy was, whether you're watching Razor Ramon in the WWF or whether you're watching Scott Hall and in the NWO over in WCW. He's no longer with us, but the legacy of the bad guy that was in Machismo lives forever. Yesterday, DJ K Slay, the mixtape maniac, what I may have been today, but we lost him as well. The Drama King, after the lengthy battle of COVID-19, he's no longer with us. It's been quite a few. I'm trying to, former Ohio State great, Dwayne Haskins, unfortunately ran out of gas on the interstate down in Broward County, Florida, and unfortunately was struck by a dump truck, and we lost him too. This is to remind you, man, that no matter who you are, where you're from, how much money you have, or any of that kind of stuff, the ultimate equalizer is that when the man gets ready to call you home, it's time to go, and he can call you home at any given point. So don't ever assume that you have time. Don't always wait till tomorrow. If there's something you want to accomplish, go ahead and go for it because you never know. Also, don't ever think you're invincible just because of who you are. When it comes to the man upstairs, this show you truly that all men and women are created equal. So this is just a reminder. Again, no matter who you are, how much money you have, or what your background is, at the end of the day, all that can end just like that. And it's again a constant reminder to always be grateful for what we have and cherish every moment we have.
All right, D, you got the flu.
Once again, it's been a pleasure and honor to do the show with y'all fellas. Just just be thankful for everything, and keep fighting and keep doing what you normally do to keep yourself grounded. So like T said, when our time is up, the big man calls us, we gotta go. So just be thankful, stay blessed, stay prayed up, and just continue to push. Good night, everyone.
All right, everybody. Appreciate y'all for coming through tonight, man. We're gonna be back. We've been out for a couple weeks, but we're trying to get back on the rhythm. Just I mean, it's been like super busy with other stuff, but we're gonna try to get y'all back in some content, man. So y'all just stay tight, man. The show ain't over. We just got into season 2. We finna get
Yep.
the road. So we'll be back. Just know when there's sports, we here. So just know we ain't going nowhere.
Yes,
Good
sir.
night, world.
Take care.
All
All
right,
right,
well.
y'all. Peace.